You know what the problem is? You've been awake, but you've never truly woken up. You move through life like a ghost, breathing, blinking, existing, but you're not living. You're not operating at full capacity. You've been running at half sped, half focus, half belief, and you wonder why your life looks like a half-built ruin. You think the world owes you progress just because you exist? Wake up. No one gives a fuck how you feel. Not the economy, not your parents, not your boss, not the universe. The world rewards the man who refuses to be average. And if you're not that man, you will be crushed by the one who is. Every time you hit snooze, scroll TikTok for an hour, skip the gym, or quit on your idea because it felt too hard, you are signing a contract with mediocrity, and worse, you're co-signing your own suffering. You are literally choosing weakness every single day and then crying when life treats you like you're weak. You want power, then you need to start acting like someone who deserves it. The top G mindset doesn't reward hope. It rewards uncompromising self-respect. The kind that says, I don't give a shit how tired I am, I do it anyway. I don't care if nobody believes in me, I believe in me. That's real self-love. Not spa days, not positive quotes, not some soft therapy session where you blame your parents. Real self-love is turning yourself into a man you no longer feel ashamed of. And listen, I'm not saying this because I hate you. I'm telling you this because I believe there's a monster inside you that's being drowned by excuses. And it pisses me off. You were born with potential carved into your bones. And instead of becoming a warrior, you let the modern world emasculate you into a passive, numb, pleasure-addicted consumer. That is not the life you were built for. You were not designed to wake up every day full of doubt. You were not meant to be anxious, broke, weak, confused, depressed. All of that is programmed into you by a system that feeds off your lack of belief. But you have the power to override it. You can turn everything around. All it takes is the decision. A moment where you say, this version of me is finished. The new me begins now. The greatest lie modern men believe is that success is a gift you stumble upon. That one day something outside of them will magically click, and the money, the women, the freedom, the peace, it'll all just fall into place. Let me break it to you with cold, beautiful truth. Success is not something you find. It's something you hunt, cage, and conquer. And that requires obsession, not interest, not mild ambition. I'm talking about raw, visceral, take no prisoners hunger. You have to want it so bad that failure doesn't scare you. That pain becomes irrelevant. That sacrifice becomes oxygen. You think I got here because I was lucky? You think I was handed anything? I took it. I outworked everybody. I trained when others slept. I studied when others played. I was willing to bleed for what I wanted. And even when I had nothing, when I was broke, cold, betrayed, doubted, I never backed off. I sharpened my sword. I refined my discipline. Because I knew the life I was meant to live was out there. And I would either die trying or die ashamed. So what are you doing with your day today? Sitting around waiting for motivation? Bro, motivation is a luxury. Discipline is the weapon. And discipline doesn't give a fuck about how you feel. Discipline is showing up because the future you is worth it. That version of you, the one with the Lambo, the empire, the calm power, the unshakable confidence, he's already out there waiting. He exists, but he will never arrive if you keep living like the version of you that's scared to suffer. The truth is, no one is coming to rescue you because you are the rescue mission. No mentor, no course, no podcast will ever replace the fire that only you can build. The moment you accept that responsibility, when you finally say this is all on me, that's when your life begins. That's when shit changes. That's when you step into the world with your chest out, your head high, and you stop begging for crumbs and start demanding your throne. You don't need more time, you need more courage. You don't need more motivation, you need a purpose that hurts to ignore. You don't need to be born into privilege. You need to become so disciplined, so dialed in, so goddamn relentless. That privilege gets nervous when it sees you walk into a room. You are not broken, you are buried. Under years of comfort, excuses, weakness, and lies. But beneath all that, there's a beast. A top G version of you that fears nothing, bows to no one, and builds his reality brick by brick. I don't care how low you've sunk. I don't care what your past looks like. If you're breathing, if your heart's still beating, you can rise. You can flip the script on your entire life. And you just have to decide that you're done being average. The top G mindset isn't about being perfect. It's about being unstoppable. You will fail, you will fall, but the difference is you'll get up faster, you'll hit back harder, and every time you do, you'll earn more of the life you were born to own. That's what it means to manifest your success, not through hope, but through force. And let me tell you a story, not some fantasy bullshit, not some polished rags to riches fairy tale you hear from broke influencers trying to sell you a course. I'm talking about real life, raw and unforgiving. I wasn't born into luxury. I didn't wake up in a mansion. I started in a freezing flat. Damp walls, mold in the corner, food in the fridge that expired last week, but I ate it anyway because hunger doesn't care about dates. I've sat in the dark because the electricity ran out. I've been down to my last pound with no backup plan, no safety net, just the burning truth that no one was coming to save me, and the only thing that separated me from the grave was what I chose to do next. Every night I'd lie in bed, muscles aching from training, mind on fire with ideas, heart pounding with the weight of my ambition. I didn't dream of yachts and Bugattis, I calculated them. I didn't fantasize about freedom, I designed it. While most men were busy chasing women and wasting time, I was forging myself into someone who couldn't be ignored. I'd be on the floor, covered in sweat, broke, unknown, dismissed, but in my head, I was already a billionaire, already a warrior, already the man who would walk into a room and command it without saying a word. But nothing came easy. I lost more than I won in the beginning. I got scammed. I got betrayed. I trusted the wrong people. I bled in silence. And the worst part, no one gave a shit. No shoulder to cry on, no applause for the effort, no validation, just silence. That's when I realized pain is the forge of champions. Every setback was sharpening me. Every failure was fuel. Every no, every rejection, every locked door just added more gasoline to the fire. And I embraced it. I let the pain carve me into someone unrecognizable from who I used to be. There were moments where it felt like the world was laughing at me. Times when I looked around and thought, why the fuck am I even doing this? But I didn't quit. Because quitting would have meant accepting the nightmare. And I was too fucking stubborn to settle. I refused to wake up one day, 50 years old, full of regret, knowing I had the fire but never had the balls to let it burn. That fear alone kept me moving. I knew I had something inside me most men couldn't touch. A level of grit and focus that didn't need applause to stay alive. When I started building businesses, no one cared. When I started making money, everyone doubted it. When I started winning, they said it was luck. They only believed when they saw the cars, the lifestyle, the results. But that's the thing. You must believe long before anyone else does. You have to carry a vision in your head so vividly, so aggressively, that even in the lowest moments, you operate like it's already real. That's what I did. And that's why I can sit here now and say what most people can't. I earned everything. I built everything. I created this empire from nothing but obsession, pain, and purpose. You don't build greatness through luck. You build it through isolation. You build it in those long nights when no one is watching, when everyone thinks you've lost your mind, when all you've got left is your willpower and a blank screen or a cold gym or a notebook filled with impossible ideas. I've had nights where the pressure nearly broke me, where I questioned everything, but I never stopped. Because I knew the man I wanted to become would never let weakness decide his fate. And when it finally came, when the first business took off, when the money started rolling, when I bought my first supercar and looked in the mirror, it wasn't joy I felt, it was confirmation that I was right, that the pain was worth it, that the lonely road was the correct one, that everything I suffered built a version of me that not only could survive at the top, but dominate it. And I realized this life was never given to me. I took it. The craziest part, I'm not special. I wasn't genetically gifted. I wasn't connected. I wasn't chosen. What I was committed beyond reason. I didn't have a plan B. I didn't keep fallback options. I burnt the fucking boats and made it impossible to go back. I made success my only option, not through hope, but through strategic madness. I brainwashed myself to win. I rewired my every habit, every routine, every thought pattern to align with success like it was a religion. And I followed it ruthlessly. So don't tell me it's impossible. Don't sit there broke and weak trying to convince yourself that your story is harder than mine. I've been in the pits. I walked through hell. The only difference is I didn't stop walking. I didn't make excuses. I turned that pain into precision. And that's what you have to do. You think you're suffering now? Good. That means you got the fuel. Now use it. Turn your suffering into your identity. Make it the reason you rise. Let it build the edge most men will never have. If you want a top G life, you need a top G story. And that story won't be clean or easy or pleasant. It will be filled with betrayal, hunger, discipline, sacrifice, and self-reinvention. It will require you to face yourself in your darkest moments and become the kind of man who thrives there. And when you do, when you finally come out on the other side with the results to back it up, you'll realize that everything you ever wanted was already within you. So you just had to become dangerous enough to unlock it. You have no idea how powerful you are. And that's the biggest tragedy. Every day you walk around trapped inside a prison you built with your own hands. Not a physical cage, worse, a mental one. You're shackled by hesitation, enslaved by your own softness, buried under 1,000 fake comforts that have made you forget who you really are. And the scariest part, no one had to chain you up. You did it to yourself. Through your habits, through your decisions, through every time you chose pleasure over progress, distraction over development, weakness over war. The truth most men will never accept is that you are manifesting something every single day. Whether you believe it or not, whether you want it or not, every action you take is casting a vote for the man you are becoming. So when you sleep in, when you skip your workout, when you numb yourself with porn and junk food and social media, understand this. You're not escaping. You're signing a silent contract with mediocrity, promising to remain nothing while the world burns with opportunity. You are creating your own downfall through comfort. And that's the real enemy. Not poverty, not failure, not pain, comfort. Comfort is the silent killer that rots your potential from the inside out and convinces you that you're okay with being less. Let me explain something brutal. There is a version of you right now living in an alternate reality. That version wakes up with discipline. He trains like a savage. He builds his business with precision. He speaks with power. He walks with presence. And guess what? He's not some imaginary dream. He's real. But he only exists on the other side of every excuse you've been clinging to. Every time you avoid discomfort, you are actively rejecting the stronger version of yourself. You are killing him before he ever gets the chance to breathe. You think life is going to reward you for surviving? You think just waking up and doing the bare minimum entitles you to happiness, success, power? No. Life only rewards the man who refuses to be ignored. The man who confronts every part of himself that's soft, weak, addicted, emotional, and replaces it with purpose, with fire, with calculated daily execution. You don't get what you want, you get what you earn. Let me hit you deeper. Fear isn't your enemy, it's your compass. The reason you fear discipline is because you know it works. You fear pressure because you know it will strip you bare and expose who you really are. You fear isolation because deep down you're scared of facing your unfulfilled potential. But guess what? That fear is the exact direction you should be sprinting in. The best version of you isn't found in comfort. He's buried in the shit you've been avoiding. And every time you avoid it, the weaker you becomes stronger. That's how men become ghosts while still breathing. You can't outrun who you're becoming. Every habit, every small choice, every second you give away to bullshit is transforming you into something, whether you're conscious of it or not. The question is, are you shaping yourself into a weapon, or are you letting the system mold you into another soft, obedient, broken product of modern weakness? The world wants you docile. It wants you anxious. It wants you broke, insecure, chasing validation, and too tired to fight back. Why? Because a weak man is easy to control. A strong man is a threat. A strong man builds empires. A strong man moves through life like a storm. Unapologetic, disciplined, focused, relentless. You're not stuck. You're sedated. You're not broken. You're distracted. You don't need therapy. You need purpose. You need to wake up and realize that every delay, every moment of procrastination is costing you more than time. It's costing you your identity. You're slowly becoming a man you'll regret. And if that doesn't shake you to your core, then you've already flatlined and no one told you yet. But here's the power. The same habits that destroy you can be reversed. That's the light. You can start today, right fucking now, this second, by switching from consumer to creator, from spectator to soldier, from boy to man. You don't need permission. You don't need motivation. You need movement. Action, a reason to bleed, because through pain comes clarity, through discipline comes freedom, and through purpose comes power. You are not weak by nature. You are weak by decision. And the moment you decide, truly decide to abandon your comfort and face the fire, you begin to transform, not into a robot, not into some perfect fake motivational archetype, but into something more dangerous, a man who knows exactly who he is, what he wants, and what he's willing to do to get it. A man who doesn't fold under pressure because he has welded himself in pressure. A man who doesn't beg for validation because he has earned his own respect in silence. That version of you exists, and he's waiting for you to show up, but he won't come to you. You have to earn your way into his skin through sacrifice, through courage, through consistency, so violent that it offends the old you. And when that version of you finally wakes up, when you see it in your walk, your eyes, your presence, you'll understand something that most men will never know. Freedom is earned through discipline. Identity is forged through discomfort. And greatness is the reward of those who were willing to suffer for a vision nobody else could see but them. There comes a moment where the version of you that's full of doubt, weakness, and hesitation has to be burned alive. That soft, miserable, emotional coward that you've been dragging through life, he doesn't belong in your future. He doesn't deserve access to your potential. You can't keep feeding him with maybe tomorrow and expect to become a fucking savage. That version of you, always tired, always distracted, always searching for shortcuts, has to be executed without mercy. You want to be strong? You want to be rich? You want to walk into a room and own it without opening your mouth? Then understand this. Everything you want exists on the other side of who you no longer have the right to be. You will never become great while protecting the identity of the man who built your suffering. The life you hate was handcrafted by a weaker version of you. Every ounce of regret, every failure, every moment where you settled for less, it's all been stitched together by the decisions of a man who had potential but no discipline. Potential means nothing if you lack the hunger to do something with it. You think you're meant for more? Good, then prove it. Burn the bridges back to your old habits and build a version of yourself that terrifies the past. You don't need more motivation. You need more war inside your spirit. You need to move like your life depends on it, because one day it will. Every second you waste is another second your enemy trains. Another second a stronger man gets sharper. While you debate whether to hit the gym, another man is mastering his body. While you cry over a breakup, another man is using that pain as fuel to create an empire. While you scroll and distract yourself from the emptiness, a monster out there is sharpening his sword. And he will take what you dream about because he's obsessed and you're uncertain. The world doesn't care about your intentions. The world rewards the executioner. If you want to live like a king, you have to suffer like a gladiator. You have to be willing to wake up when you're exhausted, work when you're broken, and keep pushing when nothing makes sense. Power isn't given. It's ripped from the jaws of chaos by men who refuse to kneel. And if you think the universe will reward your half effort with full results, you've already lost. No one respects the man who kind of tried. No woman desires the man who almost showed up. No legacy is built on a foundation of hesitation. This is about choice. It always has been. Do you choose comfort or greatness? Do you choose weakness or war? Every action you take is shaping a legacy your future self will either worship or resent. That voice in your head that tells you to rest, to quit, to slow down, that's the same voice responsible for every broken piece of your life. And until you silence it with action, until you crush it under the weight of relentless consistency, you will never know what it feels like to be truly powerful. You need to become a man who is impossible to ignore. A man who doesn't beg for respect, but commands it through presence, through discipline, through proof. The world is full of noise, men screaming for attention with nothing to show for it. You want to stand out? Then don't talk. Be undeniable. Train until your physique speaks for you. Work until your bank account silences every critic. Improve until your entire being radiates winner. No one cares about your excuses. They care about results, and results only come when your actions scream louder than your circumstance. Let's be brutally honest. If your life isn't where you want it to be, it's because you haven't suffered enough for the upgrade. You haven't done the dark work. You haven't walked alone long enough. You haven't silenced the noise and gone to war with your own mediocrity. But you can. That's the hope in all this. You're one violent decision away from flipping your entire reality. Not tomorrow, not next month, right fucking now. The instant you say, this is done, that old version of me is dead, everything shifts. The mind obeys, the body follows, and the universe starts responding to a man who finally decided to take himself seriously. You don't rise by accident. You rise by turning pain into progress, by weaponizing your focus, by choosing discipline over dopamine. You rise when you stop entertaining the idea of quitting and start acting like the man who wins or dies trying. That's the energy. That's the standard. And once you tap into it, everything changes. You stop chasing, you start attracting. You stop begging, you start building. You stop wishing, you start fucking winning. So what are you going to do now? You've heard the truth. You've been called out. You felt the fire. Now it's on you. You either step up or you vanish. You either become a warrior or stay a prisoner. This world is cruel to weak men, but it bows to those who refuse to break. Don't wait for a sign. Don't look for permission. You are the permission. You are the force. You are the weapon. Now pick yourself up and go become everything they said you never could be. This is the moment. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now. This is where it either begins or ends. You've been waiting for a sign, a spark, a message from the universe. Here it is. This is the permission you thought you needed. This is the fire you've been missing. And it's not coming from outside you. It's coming from the part of your soul that's been screaming for years to be let out. The part of you that remembers what it feels like to be fucking alive. I'm not here to sell you a fantasy. I'm not here to hold your hand. I'm here to tell you the kind of truth that most men are too scared to face. You have time and you're wasting it. You have health and you're disrespecting it. You have freedom and you're using it to chain yourself to failure. How many more days are you going to piss away before you finally look in the mirror and declare war? War on your laziness. War on your excuses. War on the weaker version of yourself that keeps begging you to stay small. You don't transform by thinking. You transform by executing until your soul bleeds from the pressure. The world doesn't owe you success, but it will hand it to you the second you stop negotiating with your comfort and start moving like a man who has nothing left to lose. You don't need perfect conditions. You need violent movement. You need obsession. You need action that slaps the weakness out of your system every morning. The game is simple. Get up, show up, and don't stop until the universe folds. Wake up before the sun. Hit the gym like your life is on the line. Build something that makes the world remember your name. Speak with power, walk with intent, move like you're a threat to everything average. You have no right to sit around waiting for life to hand you blessings you haven't bled for. Every inch of progress must be earned through hours of war. That's how kings are born. That's how legends are carved. You want peace? Earn it through pain. You want freedom? Build it with discipline. You want respect? Forge it in silence, when no one is clapping, when no one is watching, when your whole body wants to quit, but you don't. That's the point where greatness is created. Not when things feel good, not when motivation is high, but when your body is breaking, your mind is screaming, and your will chooses to keep fucking going anyway. People love to talk about goals, but goals are worthless without identity level transformation. You don't get what you dream about, you get what you fight for, with a mindset that would scare the average man. The version of you that wins is not built through soft affirmations and good vibes. He's built in the dark, alone, uncertain, but obsessed. He's not waiting for the world to love him, he's making the world kneel. You are not your past, you are not your mistakes. You are whatever you're willing to become from this moment forward. And if you decide right now to stop being the spectator in your own life, everything changes. You think you need another plan? You don't. You need conviction. You need to commit to something so deeply that failure becomes irrelevant. You either make it or you die trying. That's the only energy you need. That's the top G standard. Your body is capable. Your mind is lethal. The only missing piece is your decision. A real decision, not a temporary burst of energy followed by collapse, but a locked in, iron-willed, relentless shift into the man you were always meant to be. You weren't created to be a consumer. You weren't designed to beg. You weren't built to live quietly. You were crafted for dominance, for danger, for absolute power. And the only thing in your way is the version of you who still thinks tomorrow is guaranteed. So here's the real call to action. Get out of the mindset of waiting. Start building. Start grinding. Start moving with urgency. Like every second you waste is another second your enemy advances, because it is. Start protecting your time like it's your kingdom. Start training like your future family depends on your strength. Start making money like you're the last man on earth with ambition left in his bloodstream. This is your mission. And from this point forward, everything you do must align with one question. Does this decision make me more dangerous or more disposable? Because you're either becoming an asset or you're becoming irrelevant. There's no middle ground. No more figuring it out. Either you take full control or you keep living the life that makes you miserable. The choice is yours. And once you decide, really decide, the world will bend, because the universe doesn't respond to the weak, it rewards the relentless. Now stand up, walk out the door, and start living like the man who's coming for everything.